we had readings all around the area finally above freezing. So we did see the big thaw underway. It's still above freezing in Birmingham right now. Just a live look there, 48 degrees. Winds are out of the south-southwest at 5 here in Tuscaloosa, showing 48. Winds out of the south-south wind is going to pump in some mild conditions tomorrow, but there's still a chance because the sky is clear. I do think we're going to touch freezing in a lot of spots. This is one area where that could happen. Jacksonville, over towards places like Glencoe, Gadsden, already seeing some upper 30s in those areas. But our weather headlines: near freezing tonight, will warm up well above freezing tomorrow, and then the rain comes back, and it's back to freezing Thursday during the morning hours, and weekend looks dry, and it also looks sunny for Saturday and into Sunday. Right now, no precipitation showing up, but I wanted to bring in the current temperature so you could see. I mentioned Gadsden there at 39, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa 48, Anderson, Oxford in the low 40s, Talladega, Ashland around 41. So there's a lot of areas where the way these temperatures are trending right now, we'll certainly get close to freezing for the overnight. In the morning, when you step outside, the clouds are going to start moving in. It'll be a cold start. These temperatures will eventually level off tonight as we get that cloud cover moving in. I was noticing on the visible satellite, this was an interesting image here. Of course, we lose it once the sun sets. When the sun was up, we could see during the day. Watch what happens back in here. See, that is snow still on the ground. You can see in that view from space a lot of areas still seeing a lot of snow on the ground and dealing with the icy conditions. There's still thousands without power across parts of Mississippi, Tennessee from that ice storm over a week ago. But now you can see on the satellite image, we look back to the west here. This is the infrared view, and you can see those clouds starting to build in across Texas and Louisiana. This is the next system that's going to impact us for tomorrow and bring us some rain. No severe weather out of this, but just good soaking area-wide, it looks like. Timing-wise, 1 p.m. Tuesday, 1 a.m. Wednesday across northwest areas. Afternoon through about 3 a.m. Wednesday morning, places like Amiana, back towards Pinson, Birmingham, Gardendale, Bessemer, Tuscaloosa, Utah, Greensboro, and then you can see after 4 o'clock, that's when we'll see most of this pushing in towards places like Piedmont, Anniston, Oxford, Jacksonville, Talladega, Lincoln, and down towards Sylacauga and Rockford. But all this will move out early morning hours on Wednesday. There's some data wanting to squeeze out over the northeast corner of the state. A few flurries perhaps on Wednesday. Around here, temperatures will be in the 40s, and it will be a mostly cloudy sky as we look ahead. But again, there's those first alert weather headlines once again for you. We'll be walking you through that extended forecast coming up. But it is Groundhog Day, and today, of course, okay, we'll get to that here. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll be right back with that story. Right now, we want to break for just 30 quick seconds. I'll see you back here in just a few moments. Another look at those current conditions out there. You can see temperatures in the 40s for a lot of us, but East Alabama, those northern areas, Coleman now down to 39 degrees. But I want to show you the wind speed forecast here as we look ahead through tonight and into tomorrow. You can see that wind is going to pick up. There's some gusts over 20 miles per hour with that system as it moves through. That's showing 9 o'clock tomorrow night. Basically, anytime we go through these fast changes, I mean, we're going from near freezing tonight to near 60 tomorrow, and then temperatures dropping back off into Wednesday and Thursday. We'll see that breeze pick up. But notice the arrows showing wind out of the south to southwest direction again by tomorrow night. But it looks like some higher gusts in there. Again, it is going to be windy and rainy throughout the evening hours. But as far as any severe storms, nothing like that expected, as the instability will be on the lower end. Thankfully, temperatures will be on the cooler side. But as I was mentioning before the break, it is Groundhog Day. So what does the country's most famous rodent have to say about winter and spring? Well, according to Punxsutawney Phil, winter won't be coming to an end anytime soon. The iconic groundhog saw his shadow this morning at Gobbler's Knob. His team of top-hatted handlers announced the news to a crowd of thousands waiting in the frigid temperatures in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. It's the 140th year for the traditional weather forecast. But what about here in Birmingham?
Birmingham Jill said when she woke up this morning on this very sunny day, she did in fact see her shadow, which means we are ready for 6 more weeks of winter.
Well, you heard her, 6 more weeks of winter. That's according to Birmingham Jill. She's the zoo's opossum. She also the zoo's animal weather predictor. The zoo is letting groundhog Birmingham Bill catch some extra Z's while he's in hibernation. They say he sleeps until March, and workers don't want to disrupt him. I don't know. We might all, Bill may need to take the spotlight there on that one, right? So, yeah, what are you seeing right here? Cold stunned iguanas. And that's one thing we don't have to worry about here in Alabama, but it's a big story across the state of Florida. We'll have more on that after the break.
Explore the wonders of weather in the classroom. Scan the QR code now to help your kids soar to new heights with Soar with Six.
Well, we've had a pretty active January, right? Lots of cold weather, and we had a lot of rainfall. I want to show you the final totals for the month of January, and everybody finishing above average. Typically, we'll pick up about 5 inches of rain. We're getting close to 7 inches in Birmingham, over almost 8.5 inches of rain in Tuscaloosa, and over 6 inches of rainfall there in Anniston. So that's good for us. We've been in a drought for several months, so having an above average month of rainfall is a good thing. And as we make our way into February, we'll typically average about the same in January, about 5 inches of rainfall. Our wettest month of the year typically is in March, so we're getting there, and we'll see what happens as we make our way into the next several weeks. Looking at average high temperatures, we're starting to see a warming trend. We're getting closer and closer to spring. On average, we'll see highs in the mid-50s in January. In February, our average highs usually are in the upper 50s, and then we'll see 60s for highs in March. So let's break down those high temperatures for the month of February. So right around now, our average is about 56 degrees. By the middle of February, it's 59, and by the end of the month, our average high temperature is in the lower 60s. So it's nice to think about warmer temperatures after the freezing temperatures we had to deal with this past weekend. Average low temperatures are usually in the upper 30s and into the 40s as we go into March. So on average, about 36 degrees is where we should be for this time of the year. By the end of February, we average about 42 degrees. So we're getting there. 46 days until spring is officially here. I don't know about you, but I'm kind of ready for it. And one reason is the amount of daylight. We're seeing more of it. You're probably noticing those later sunsets. Today, we're averaging about 10 hours and 37 minutes of daylight. We make our way into March. We're getting about 11 hours and 28 minutes of daylight. And then we make our way into April 1st, 12 hours and 33 minutes of daylight. On average, we're picking up about a minute and a half, 2 minutes of daylight each and every day. Of course, as we get closer to spring and the temperatures begin to warm, we start getting the clashes of winter and spring, and that can give you severe weather. So just want to know, we're starting to really make our way into the severe weather season. This is just based off climatology. The tornadoes per month, about 200, 220 in January and February, but it really ramps up as we go into March and April. So there's something to think about. Have a plan in place down the road just in case we have severe weather. But yeah, let's think warmer thoughts after the big freeze we had to deal with over the weekend.
Well, more than a couple of inches of snow in Wilmington, North Carolina isn't unheard of, but it's rare. Many people there took advantage of the nearly 6 inches of snow they got over the weekend. Connor Smith has that story.
A day of cleaning up around Wilmington and a day of fun for kids around the city.
It's really cool to see them being able to play and enjoy the snow.
6 inches of snow leaving Wilmington looking like this. Slick roads forcing drivers to take it slow.
Something our office wants to stress is that even as the sun is out and roads are being treated, conditions remain dangerous.
Jason Fuller with New Hanover County Emergency Management says bridges and main roads are still their top priority. MLK Parkway near 3rd Street closed with drivers fighting through ice.
Please stay off the roads unless travel is absolutely necessary.
But nobody said anything about hills. This hill near Market Street and College Road filled with people sledding.
Cold, but it's worth it. It's beautiful.
So whether you were sledding, walking through downtown, or even made it to Wrightsville Beach, it was a memorable snow day along the coast.
Well, it's not just kids that enjoy the snow. Penguins do too. And video from the Pittsburgh Zoo and Aquarium showed the animals enjoying this extreme winter weather, frolicking and playing and sliding in the fresh snow in their zoo enclosure. It's almost like, was it Happy Feet? The movie? It looks like in real time, right? And in northwest Mississippi, a sheet of ice fell off a roof and caused a lot of damage. It's a reminder that even as the roads improve, this danger from this winter storm and this crippling ice storm isn't over for areas to the north and west of Alabama. Rosalind Freeman talked with a tow truck driver who said what happened at his own home showed just how heavy and unpredictable the ice can be as the temperatures rise. And we'll try to get back to that. Right now, a 7-year-old boy is in critical condition in a Tennessee hospital after falling into a frozen pond. It happened this weekend at an apartment complex in Memphis. Investigators say the 7-year-old and his 12-year-old brother were walking on a frozen pond when the ice gave way. The Shelby County Sheriff's Office responded to a drowning call and rescued the boys. It's estimated the boys were in the ice-cold water for at least 3 minutes. One deputy was injured as he tried to rescue the boys from the pond. And another home has collapsed into the Atlantic Ocean. What you're seeing right here is that collapse happening. It's one of 4 homes along the Outer Banks of North Carolina that collapsed this weekend during the most recent winter storm. There was some tropical storm, nearly hurricane-force wind gusts with that winter storm to our east over the weekend. None of the homes were occupied, thankfully, but you may recall 10 homes in that same area collapsed into the Atlantic during hurricane conditions back in October. The Outer Banks continues to face erosion concerns, especially during periods of strong surf, high tides, and storms. What we're looking at is dozens of buildings that are right there teetering on the edge of a cliff in Sicily. This happens after, or it happened after heavy rain drenched the area for days, setting off a huge landslide. It happened in Nishimi, a town in the island's southwest region. The landslide stretched across 2.5 miles. Aerial images showed the buildings that had dropped over the newly formed cliff, while many others' homes remain perched on the edge. Over 1,500 people have been evacuated. And the brutal cold we experienced this weekend made its way to Florida. When it arrived, it was so cold, well, the iguanas felt the impact. Iguanas will fall from trees when the temperatures get too low. And in Hollywood, Florida, temperatures were hovering in the mid-30s. And iguana expert Jessica Kilgore collected a number of the reptiles, and she said iguanas are cold-blooded, so frigid temperatures can harm them, and the iguanas will be turned over to the state's Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. And they even had wind chills down into the 20s, well down as far south as Miami. And it's almost here. NASA's getting ready to launch the Artemis II rocket into space with 4 astronauts on board. Earlier today, a crucial dress rehearsal happened at Kennedy Space Center in Florida. The test involves filling up the rocket's tanks with more than 700,000 pounds of propellant. Engineers will review the results of the dress rehearsal before launching Artemis II. Once the mission gets underway, the astronauts will orbit the moon in the Orion spacecraft. Yes, we are headed back to the moon. This will be the first manned mission to the moon in more than 50 years. That is going to be quite the mission, and certainly very interesting to see so many years later with today's technology. Okay, right now we are looking at radar. No precipitation showing up at the moment, but this time tomorrow, big first alert. We are going to have some rain coming back, and I'll let you know. So right now, temperature-wise, it's cold. We have 48 in Tuscaloosa, 48 Birmingham, 42 at Anniston, seeing some 30s in Coleman and Gaston. We'll get close to freezing, especially some of these areas to the north early tomorrow morning to start the day. You can see the clouds will start to move in tonight, so that should slow down the cooling process. Also, the winds pick up out of the south direction during the day for our Tuesday. But here comes the rain tomorrow afternoon, and yes, this just looks like rain for the most part. It will be breezy tomorrow night. Could have some gusts up to 20 miles per hour as this rain moves through. And notice there's 6 o'clock, and we're just covered up tomorrow. So a lot of this comes in late afternoon, early evening, and then we'll see the back edge of the rain pushing through midnight and into the early morning hours on Wednesday. The temperature is, of course, well above freezing, so no worries about ice, and it's cold enough to where we're not concerned about any high instability values. So, again, that no risk for severe storms expected. This is kind of interesting Wednesday morning. And most models just show clouds on Wednesday, but this one model here, this is the high-resolution rapid refresh model, and it picks up on maybe a few flurries over far northeast Alabama Wednesday morning. And I show this, because if this does happen, this would be another week, like 3 weeks in a row, when wintry precipitation in some form or fashion fell in some part of Alabama, which is noteworthy in itself. If that does happen, it will be interesting to see. This is kind of the last, I guess you could say, the last little taste of the Polar Express for right now, as those temperatures take a tumble. Wednesday's going to be a chilly day, overcast, highs in the 40s, will be above freezing, but as we get to the overnight lows by early Thursday morning, 25 degrees, we start to clear out. Highs around 44 degrees on Thursday. Looks like sunshine will come back, and then we have mostly sunny weather Friday. Check mark on that day, Saturday and Sunday. Yes, it will be cold at night. You'll need the jacket in the morning. February chill. We'll have some frost early in the day, but look at those temperatures during the afternoon with sunshine. 58 on Saturday. Nice day Sunday, 60 degrees during the afternoon. Get a walk in and soak in some of that sunshine. Monday, clouds start to move in. So a week from today, we'll start to get some clouds. We're up to 61, 20% chance for a shower as this milder air builds in. Notice as a week from today, looking ahead to next week, we start to see some mid-60s showing up in that 10-day forecast. There will be a chance of rain as this milder air builds in here Monday night and Tuesday. A few showers, and then again around the 12th and 13th of February, another system that could bring some wet weather. Of course, as we look at the 10-day forecast out there, which you can also find on the First Look weather app, a lot could change with that. But the one signal that is very strong with most long-range models, above average temperatures. So that is going to be a welcome welcome trend. In fact, I think by the middle to end of next week, we could have some areas out there approaching highs near 70 degrees. What a turnaround from what we just went through. Now, winter is far from over. I know the groundhog saw a shadow today, but typically from this date, spring is officially 6 weeks and 4 days away. So I promise you there will be some more cold snaps down the road, even though it's warm up next week. We've seen snow around here during the month of April, so it can certainly happen. So we will be talking more about the long-range forecast and keeping you well informed, but certainly looking forward to some milder weather in the days ahead. All right, I got to give a big shout out to all my friends at Irondale Community School. These are the fifth graders, and they were a wonderful group today. Had some great questions and just all smiles. We needed some smiles today after all this cold weather. Get out and smile at some sunshine, right? But I want to thank Mr. Gerlach and Miss Hudson and all the teachers there. They always do an incredible job. And Mr. Gerlach, teacher, took me over. They have a robot competition team and showed me some of the cool things they're doing there and having fun with science. So we'll have to talk to them again here on Weather Extra about that. That was quite interesting to see. But we sang some songs and talked about weather safety, and we do have a severe weather awareness week that we're going to be talking about because we're getting closer to, of course, that spring severe weather season. We will be back after the break. We'll be talking more about that 10-day forecast. We'll see you in a few moments.
Teachers, promote literacy in your class by scheduling book reading with WBRC. Scan the QR code now to help your kids soar to new heights with Soar with Six.
Well, we've got some pictures to show you, but first I wanted to, before I got into that, show you the coldest wind chills we had recorded. 1 degree, this is 1 degree above zero in Pelham and Coleman, 1 degree, and we had single-digit wind chills, 3 degrees in Ashland, all the way to a whopping 8 degrees in Tuscaloosa and Anniston this past weekend. So if you got outside, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Man, oh man, was it cold. And we had a few light snow flurries and some light snow. This is in Coleman. Charles Baker said this was on my back deck that day. This was Saturday morning there in Jones Chapel. Scott Harris sent that in. Isn't that pretty? With the tree and the barn there, little pond. Man, that looks like a Hallmark movie right there. This was sent in by Jeremy Holder in Vinemont, Alabama. Got some snow on the truck and on the ground in Vinemont and in Tecumseh there in Cherokee County. We mentioned we might get some light snow into Cherokee County. Sure enough, we did. Michelle Short sent that in. And Lane from the Bethel community of Coleman. Looks like a little bit of a dusting there on the farm there in Coleman, Alabama. If you'd like to send in some pictures, we had a lot over the weekend. We'd love a lot more. Basically, when you send them in through our First Alert Weather app, it gives us permission to send them here on TV or show them on TV. So download the First Alert Weather app. You can either use a QR code or do an app search for WBRC First Alert, and you too can be a part here of Weather Extra.
And we saw a few snow flurries even yesterday morning across parts of the area, but now it's all back to a chance of rain tomorrow. So we'll have updates on the timing. Looks like it moves in more into the afternoon and evening. So check the First Alert Weather app tonight. Again, still jacket weather. It's a cold night out there, but be ready for that rain to come back for our Tuesday afternoon. But we'll have much more on the extended forecast and tracking that next system tonight. Join us